you make a New Year's resolution? Of course you did. We all make them. We just don't all keep them for very long. And that's why, for me, I chose to go with one that I think I can actually stick with. That resolution? Consume less sugar, especially during the first meal of the day. And the reason I'm confident I can see this resolution through is because of Magic Spoon cereal. Magic Spoon has amazing flavors for the cereals, but most importantly, they have cracked the code of making tasty cereal without filling you up with sugar and other junk. Check out these stats. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories a serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And you can build your own box of your favorites from available flavors, including cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. And thanks to you guys, Magic Spoon has promoted those 2 flavors, cookies and cream and maple waffle, to the big leagues. That's right. They're going to be a part of the permanent rotation from now on. No 10-day call-ups for these guys. They are legit and they are here to stay. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. They guarantee happiness 100% here. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use the code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
I took a bite into a deep fried stick. I thought there would be cheese in it, but it was a pickle. Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, January 3rd. Happy New Year to everybody out there. I'm JD Skeets for the first time in a long time. Hashtag FullSquad. We got Tass Mellis.
It's official. We're pulling it off, I think.
Well, fingers crossed, Tassie. We got our top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby. Hey, yo. The international man of mystery, taking it to the max on no delay for the first time in a long time. Leigh Ellis.
Friends, I don't know where to look right now.
Yeah,
you
look
look
at
at
us.
Trey on the screen, JD.
Eye to eye.
Eye to eye.
Rose. And yes, finally making the magic happen. Super producer, JD.
Hello.
What?
Hello.
Look at this. Picture in picture? Is that what we're doing here, eh?
Well, you know, I am uncomfortable on camera.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Hey!
My full picture. But this is the first time I've been able to have all of us on screen at the same time.
Look at that. We did it.
We did it. We
Look
did
at
it.
that pip. New
Way to
pip.
go.
It's a new pip.
It's a new pip. Happy pip,
new
everyone.
pips in town.
Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Take a second, subscribe, like, share the video, help us out, get to 50,000. Remember when we thought we were going to get to 50K by Halloween?
Now we are.
Yeah.
Well,
The numbers are going to
Yeah, you didn't say
skyrocket.
the
Us
year.
being in the same
oh,
room.
I like that idea. Okay, hopefully that's the plan. Shout out to the Pod Squad, the Discord horde as well. Send in your questions, nodunks@theathletic.com. Best way to do it. Or you can tweet at Leigh right now, at Leigh Ellis.
Yeah, make it quick though, because my battery's running out on my
Oh,
computer.
you want to share some juice?
Ah, you're right.
No, let's share some juice.
All right.
Look
Thanks,
at this. This
man.
is the beauty of being
Yeah,
in the same
wow.
room together. We can share our computer cords.
That's why we're sitting on these side of the desks as well, because you guys have the Pro. We got just the regular Pro over here. We got the Thunderbolt.
Me and
Different
Skeets are like
plugs.
the players just with tats all over us, and you guys are just like clean over there. So
Business tats.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of
yeah.
our tattoos are on the underside of our sweet
Yeah.
laptops. I actually was a little nervous to be sitting in front of Skeets. I was worried we would have a reverse Gandalf effect where I would look like 900 feet tall.
Yeah.
So I had to pull a quick audible at JD this morning to switch sides.
Yeah, no, I don't mind this.
Yeah, this is
I like
nice.
this right now. If you're joining us for the first time here in the Classic Factory, permanent location, temporary desk. I said that when we did our test run with just Tass and I and JD a couple weeks ago, I guess it was now. We got a little, we got a special desk coming. I don't want to say too much because we thought it would be here by now, and it obviously isn't. But I can't wait for it to show up. What else? Guys, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at No Dunks Inc.
This is a ping pong table. Actually, you just remind me there's some great Raptors beer pong tables going around for the holidays. You see those?
No.
Raptors branded?
Going around?
Yeah.
What do you mean going around?
as in, the internet where things go around and being
they do.
sold as a product, as a ping pong table.
Oh.
They were cool.
Any of our friends buy one?
They talked about it.
Wow.
I don't think they purchased it though. Couple grand to drink out of Raptors cups. I don't know, a little expensive.
I mean, you throw a sticker on this, it becomes a Raptors beer pong table just like
Fair.
that. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
No, we're not putting stickers on this table. We're adding a laptop every day.
Perfect.
By March,
Yeah.
this is just a covered in laptop.
Like the Jason Kidd collar picture. That's it. One more laptop each.
Oh, I like that. For every subscription
Yeah.
we get on YouTube, we'll
Yeah.
add a laptop.
Add a
All right,
laptop.
yeah.
Okay, that's the new deal here. Okay, so Monday, it's the new year. I guess before we get into winners and losers of the weekend, you guys did some traveling. Let's get some quick stories. Leigh, you looked like you had a blast from your Instagram photos, your Twitter photos, Roxanne's Twitter photos.
Yeah.
Tell the people what was the highlight, I guess, of the trip.
We had an Arctic blast, I'll tell you that much.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go Celsius here, Trey. Sorry for you. But one day in Calgary last week, it felt like minus 43 degrees. Minus 43.
I'm sorry, is that cold? You said it in Celsius.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Even hardened Canadians are like, man, this is cold. This is crazy cold. What are you guys
That's
doing
like
here?
don't be outside.
Oh, it was dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had plans of like sledding and, snowboarding and stuff like that with the boys, but it was just too cold to go outside. So, we had to spend a little bit more time inside than we would have planned on. And I missed out on going to the Flames Oilers game, Tass.
That's very unfortunate.
Man, I was so juiced for that. I really wanted to go and see
juiced.
Connor McDavid.
Oh,
Big fan.
Not McGregor. Yeah.
Ah,
Huge.
man, he's got some filthy stick work, that dude. I saw the highlights. I
Quite
was
the
like,
dangle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made TSN had their top 50 goals of all time because the World Junior Hockey Championships got cancelled.
Yeah.
The NHL was off, so they had to put stuff up. They had him up. Oh man, he had
That's
an
great.
incredible goal. Yeah. So I missed out on that,
so
unfortunately.
that
rivalry.
was postponed, I guess.
That was
Yeah.
postponed. Yeah. So missed out, unfortunately. But I had a really good experience in Banff. I know you've been there.
Yes.
Banff.
This guy's never been more excited to talk about anything.
Banff was.
I haven't been in the winter. I've been.
Oh well, see that's the funny thing, isn't it? Really, because so many people go in their seasons, and obviously it's a big summer, spring destination.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that winter is maybe the best time to go, even though it's the only time I've been and I've just come back from there.
Right.
Homer.
Spectacularly beautiful place.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. What animals did you see?
Well, we saw some reindeer. And like, how cliche is this? I pull into Banff. I pull off the highway. I pull into Banff, and there's a pedestrian crossing. The reindeer even know to use the pedestrian crossing there, and they just
Press
come,
the button with those moves?
they just come trotting out. Everyone stops.
Yeah.
Two go across, and then there's the straggler. Just as everyone's about to move, the straggler comes trotting across like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is crazy stuff. So,
Hey, I'm trotting here.
but I tell you what, driving on the roads when it's covered in snow and ice like that, whew, it's
Quite the
Not-
thrill.
yeah.
I mean, I was like Stevie Wonder when I came out of the airport there at Calgary because you're driving along and you can't even see where the lanes are.
Okay, you got there.
I was like, I've got a suggestion for whoever's in charge of the roads in Alberta. Paint the lanes, all of them yellow. When you're painting them white
Right.
and it's snowing like that, you're just driving along and go, I'm not even sure which lane I'm in there.
Yeah.
You're sort of going on
Scary.
just where the tracks for the other cars drive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's, there's times I'm like, oh, I expect a few honks from the horns from the, the locals here because I'm drifting all over the place.
Yeah.
But we got there in the end. I had
Wow.
to put it into 4-wheel drive a couple of times to make
Cool.
sure the tires grip.
That's what it does.
Yeah. And, but the
Sure
other
that
thing is,
gripping.
actually, JD, I'm going to have to apologize to you in advance here, JD, because in order to start the car and get into the car in the morning, I had to idle for like half an hour to warm it up.
Oh, jeez.
I had to. It was like,
Wow.
I mean, because you got to like brush all the snow off first, and then you got to.
Oh no! Really?
That's not a problem. But it's sitting in the car, and it is just like minus 35 degrees outside.
Does the car run?
I didn't at the start. Well, a couple of times it sort of like coughed and spluttered as I turned it on. But
Yes.
we got there in the end. But it was
Well,
crazy.
I mean, a half hour is ridiculous.
It sounds ridiculous, but
My brother lived in Yellowknife, and he would run. Sometimes they would have to run the car all night, otherwise
it
wouldn't start. Yeah. So, literally. All right, I'm going to bed now. Start the car. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Come on.
On certain days. on
Okay,
certain
okay,
days,
yeah,
on certain
yeah.
days.
So you had a blast.
Amazing.
We had a
So
blast.
sum it
The only sour memory I have is went to a spring at one of those outdoor springs in Banff,
Yeah.
and my swim trunks made it all the way to Toronto. They made it all the way to Calgary. They made it all the way to Banff. But the 10-minute walk from the hotel to the springs, my swim daks didn't make it.
Yeah.
I had to borrow a pair. I had to borrow a pair of swim daks.
Couldn't buy them?
Yeah.
No, they don't sell them. They rent them. So I'm like, I know. So
Rental daks.
all of us were going, and I had the boys in the change room. They're all changed, ready to go. I'm like, oh my God, where are my daks? Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they made it to the hotel, but not to the spa.
Yeah.
Apologies, Trey. He's got to call them daks.
So I had to go.
Where are my daks?
So I had to go to the dude at the front and say, "Can I
Dude, where's my daks?
can I please rent a pair of daks?"
your daks
So the guy's like, "What size are you?" I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't really matter. I'm wearing daks. Thousands of other men have probably worn, so I
Right.
can put them on."
Oh, and you hate that. I remember when you were in that wetsuit. It was the worst pick and pay
Yeah.
up we ever had.
At least I had my own undergarments on. This was like, bare skin on
Right.
pre-worn daks, and
Well, you could have worn your
underwear underneath.
nah, I hadn't, because I only had boxer shorts, so I couldn't just go out in those. And then I had nothing else to change into, so I was like, I was dakless. I couldn't go out dakless in the spa.
Too cold to walk back.
Oh man.
Why couldn't you have left the kids with Roxy and gone back to the hotel?
Because you got to then put all your clothes back on, go back down to the hotel. get
Got to
your
idle the car for like
It's-
45
yeah, I know,
minutes
it's-
before you can leave.
It's
Right.
like it's not that far, but like the effort to go and get it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
and come back, and you're only in and out of that spa in like 20 minutes, half an
Oh,
hour. It's
okay.
not like you're in a swimming pool. So yeah, great fun, great country, just great people, great food. Canada's a great
Good review.
place.
Yeah, it
Great
is.
place. Highly recommend it.
JD, how did your trip to not obviously to Banff or Calgary, but to Canada? How did it
My
go?
trip was great. It was very mellow. I was sitting in Bowmanville for most of the time, and it took me almost the same amount of time as it did last time to get back, which was a 24-hour ordeal. So,
JD, you have some of the worst flight luck
yeah,
I know of someone.
a guy fell out of the plane in this story. I'll just leave it at that. It was a worker. He fell out of the cargo hold, and that slowed us down for like 2 hours. They were investigating.
Was he okay?
I don't know, actually.
wow.
There was an ambulance. I don't know if that's standard practice,
Right.
but and the cops showed up, so maybe he was murdered. I don't know.
So it took you, in all honesty, 24 hours to get back.
The first time. Yesterday we left the house at like 7 a.m. and I got to this house at 1 a.m. basically. So.
It's a
To
2
Toronto.
hour
It's 2
flight.
hours.
You can barely watch a movie on that plane.
Oh god.
Wow. All right. Well, it's great to have everybody back here in the Classic Factory. Nice to get a little story time there to start the new year from you. It feels like you've got another 10.
I've got a couple
Yeah,
up
okay.
the sleeve there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get to some basketball talk because we got to get to this guy. He's got his Bulls hat on. My goodness. Winners of the NBA weekend, have at it.
DeMar DeRozan, he just knows how to do New Year's right, Not only did he end 2021 with a buzzer-beating, game-winning three-pointer on December 31st, he rang in the new year, January 1st, 2022, with another buzzer-beating, game-winning three-pointer. No surprise, his number is 1-1.
Wow.
Should have known it coming in. You guys already know the stat. DeRozan became the first player ever with back-to-back buzzer-beating game winners. That's a lot of hyphens. Like when you're hyphenating,
Yeah.
that's a lot of hyphens. First time ever on back-to-back days. Larry Bird did it in 1985 in consecutive games, but he had a little bit of a space in between that.
Day apart doesn't count, Larry.
Does not count Larry Bird. You've been trumped by Gary Bird, and now you've been trumped by DeMar DeRozan. Also this, if you're a dad, you love saying on December 31st, hey, see you next year. DeRozan, first time ever, a guy's hitting a game winner the last day of the year, first day of the year. Yeah. Exciting stuff. Anyways, it was great. So let's go back and talk about New Year's Eve, Indiana, a day game. This was a weird one. I don't like watching a basketball game during the day, just like on a random day. That was strange to me. Nonetheless, Bulls down 6, 2 minutes left. Kobe White hits a 3 to cut the lead to 4. Nice assist by Zach LaVine. A huge game for Kobe White in this one against the Pacers. 24, hit 6 threes. He really kept the Bulls in this. On the next possession down, DeRozan forces a turnover. He kicks it out to LaVine for a dunk, cuts the lead to 1. They trade a couple of misses. The Pacers hit some free throws. DeRozan hits a little mid-range jumper, cuts the lead to 1 with 30 seconds left. Another steal by DeRozan. Comes down on to the other end of the court, pick and roll with my man Vucci. Then DeRozan just forgets how much time is left on the clock. As he said afterwards, decides to pull up for a 1-footed floater from 27 feet. Splash!
Yeah,
DeMar,
not bang.
DeRozan delivers.
What a
Great call by Amin. Yeah, you're exactly right, Skeets. A splash, not a bank, not a rattle, not off the rim, pure swish. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Ada's like, "Daddy, too loud! You're scaring us." I'm like, "Yeah, but did you see that? You understand that this was a 3-pointer to win the game?" They got excited. DeRozan, though, was struggling in that game. 4 for 16 coming into the third quarter, but he went 4 for 8 from the field, 4 of 4 at the line, 13 points in the fourth quarter, finished with 28. The very next day in Washington, tight one down the stretch, Bulls versus Wizards. One possession either way in these last 5 minutes, but the fourth quarter, it's DeRozan time.
King of the fourth.
At this point, the last 3 minutes, DeRozan got a layup, a jumper. He assisted LaVine on a 3, hit a couple of free throws on an admittedly superstar call. Like, I don't know if that should have been a foul on Abdia, but at this point, fair enough. The Bulls have a 1-point lead, under a minute left. Kuzma's been on fire in the fourth quarter. He hits a deep 3, puts the Wizards up by 2 with 4 seconds left. Bulls get the ball back on the other side of the court. Kobe White inbounds to DeRozan in the left corner. He pump fakes Cody Kispert into next week. Bradley Beal comes to help, but he's too late. DeRozan elevates, hits the 3 from the corner. Not quite as pure as the one against the Pacers, but a little tiny bit of the rim. Some impossible defense by Beal, and Kispert is still right there. Yeah. Bulls win. First place in the Eastern Conference outright. I love that they didn't play well in either of these games and still found a way to pull out the win. That's how you win games and continue to have a high seed in your conference, by beating the bad teams and by playing and by getting victories even when you're not playing well. You guys were laughing at me for saying that DeRozan's going to get MVP votes. It's not a joke anymore. He's probably top 3 in a lot of people's minds right now. The Bulls should have the starting backcourt in the All-Star game. I don't know if that's going to happen, but LaVine was great against Washington, 35 points, 7 threes. Vucci Main had a couple of good games, 14 and 16, followed by 22 and 12. And Kobe White was great, 24 in that win against the Pacers, 20 against the Wizards, hit for 5 assists as well. He's a little bit of an X factor. He's been playing a bunch more with Lonzo and Caruso going down. Those two should be back pretty soon. Might be playing tonight against Orlando. Might be able to keep the winning streak going. Would be 8 games. They haven't won more than 7 since 2017. So a crazy weekend for the Chicago Bulls. Back-to-back game winners. Great stuff.
Here's how much the Bulls are back. On New Year's night, some of us did get together here in Atlanta, and there was talk about making bets on how far the Bulls are going into the playoffs, right? Like Eastern Conference bound. Would you bet on them to go to the finals? These were legit conversations going as the clock ticked to midnight. And my wife Nora said, "Can you cut this shit out?" So, we had John, our Bulls fan. TK was there. Obviously, Tass is involved there with Gresh, and we're all like, we're trying to figure it out. Like, how would you handicap, I guess, this team right now in terms of like how far could they go? Are they for real when it comes to like challenging at going to the finals, or at least the conference finals?
Yeah, I still think the line, if you're a Vegas line maker, you would say making the conference finals, I think is probably the barometer, like second or third round.
Yeah,
I think that's the barometer. If it's a second round, you got to expect them to make the second round. But if they make the third round, I think that's a successful season. If you want to go crazy, you see the finals. If you want to be a little bit fun.
I mean, if they make the conference finals, that's a hugely successful season for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in a while. they're top 4 in the Eastern Conference. To me, coming into the season, if you finish top 6, that's a great season. So now at least one playoff series win feels like a given. I do kind of hate the fact that I've watched so many Raptors games over the years with you guys and seen DeRozan in the playoffs, obviously. So to see him carrying the team through the fourth quarter and to see him hitting all these shots, I'm like, man, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
I just wish I didn't remember the previous 10 years of my life, right?
Yeah. I mean, people are pointing that out. Like, I've seen, like, there's the blowback even to what DeRozan's doing with the game winners. Like, oh, yeah, we've seen this story before when he played in Toronto. And then just wait until April, May, and he'll have some stinkers, which he has had in his career. But there's also some monster playoff performances from him as well. Now, they lost series that maybe they should have won and all that, but he can keep this going. And I saw somebody, I forget who it was on Twitter, like, they compared him right now, DeRozan, like he's just like a pitcher that has complete command of the plate. Like, he's just
start around his music.
But it's like especially in the fourth, he's like Maddox. He's Greg Maddox out there right now.
Like
He's not like he's in no rush. Now these are some insane shots he's hitting here. Like if both of these shots don't drop, maybe we're going, what do you like? These are brutal shot selections, like especially the one-legged runner from 3 there in the first game. But he is just in complete control right now.
He only made 2 3-pointers this weekend.
Right.
They were both game winners. So, and he only took 1 against the Wizards, and that was obviously the one that won the game. But that fourth quarter, he's leading the league in total points, in averages. He's shooting 53% from the field, 54% from 3. Okay. 87% from the free throw line. But I would just counter any of those DeRozan previous stats with he's a completely different player right now because he's experienced, he's better, he understands when it's his time. And he is just like, in that fourth quarter, throw him the ball and he's like, I'm going to do what's right. And he's made some shots. He's also made some right passes at the right time. He's done that several times. So I wouldn't be at all worried about what we've seen from him at times in the playoffs. I think right now this is the best version he's ever been of himself. At 32 years of age, he's just so comfortable in himself. And as I've mentioned as well before, him and Zach LaVine, there is no like, this is my team. I need the shots, because Zach knows he will get a shot in that fourth quarter. So will Vooch. So who will ever. Lonzo Ball got a shot from DeRozan against the Nets, I think it was. So DeRozan is like, okay, guys, you just wait. I'll either shoot it or I'll get you the ball. And that to me is what makes him so impressive about right now. And if I'm the Bulls, honestly, I think the Nets are beatable. I really do.
Beat him twice.
Yeah. And I think the Bucks are the toughest team for the Bulls to get past, simply because of Giannis. As with pretty much every team, who are you going to defend Giannis with? He's pretty hard to stop. And Vooch, probably not quite the right pick for him. And
Skeets didn't mention that. I was broadcasting on New Year's Eve that Vooch is going to be the Giannis stopper. Hold him to 6 or 24.
That's still a little bit of a concern there for the Bulls. But again, it's a concern for any team that faces Giannis and the Bucks. But honestly, from what we've seen about the Nets at times this season, I think the Nets are beatable, and I think the Bulls certainly feel they match up really well against them.
I do think a Heat Bulls fully loaded series would be a bloodbath. Like
he can't score enough.
Man, I think that would be such an awesome series.
They can't keep up.
You don't think so?
No way.
I don't know. There you go. It could be a series we get.
They've got like 10.
They've
got like 10 guys shooting over 50%. They're still in that category. They're being overlooked because they had guys out like 15 games for Bam and Jimmy, whatever it is, each of those guys. They're being overlooked, but the hierarchy is still Nets Bucks and then Bulls Heat, and then let's scrap it out. But obviously LaVine and DeRozan feel good together, and I think it only helped LaVine playing with USA Basketball this summer. Like he has never played a postseason game, and then his first foray with a really great team, as an adult, is a gold medal win. And so I think that just helps him realize, okay, I mean, I don't have to carry a team, and DeMar is just freaking happy that he doesn't have to do everything on a team anymore. I mean, Lowry wasn't LaVine in terms of scoring. They got to feel good. Those two dudes have to feel good. Hashtag the MVP, hashtag whatever. Like the hashtag is just great. It's just good. It's just,
I loved the deliver line. It's so good.
That was good. And I see Ziggy here in the stream team is calling him DeMar DeMatics. It's not bad. He's got the control right now.
Well, are we going to all fly back to Canada if we get the inevitable Lowry versus DeRozan?
Why would it be in Canada?
Well, because all Canada's you can't lose. Two favorite sons of Canada, man.
Go to Real Sports to watch the Bulls and the
there
Heat.
you go.
That's it.
That's exactly right.
I got a voucher for a flight back to Chicago, so I will be there to watch my team lose game 1. Skeets way.
Well, that's the thing. Is it Lowry losing game 1 or is it DeRozan losing game 1?
That's a great call. Great call. Not with me in the building, though.
Oh, it's going to be tough.
It is crazy, though. There were tweets. I saw a tweet from a man, Vivek Jacobs, saying that Raptors fans literally would flood the streets in Toronto if DeMar DeRozan came home with a parade after winning for the Chicago Bulls. I know it sounds really stupid, but they just love DeMar, obviously.
Yes, there would be.
He is beloved. There's no doubt.
Let's keep this moving here. The Bulls, an obvious winner. Let's go to you next because that's a homer pick, and I know you got one as well. And then we'll get to Tass. What do you got?
Well, Josh Giddey became the youngest player in NBA history with a triple-double last night against the Mavericks. Now, came in a loss. I mean,
you shit all over Russell Westbrook's triple doubles. Why are we excited about this?
But listen, the last game that Josh Giddey played in, he became the second player in NBA history to have a double-double with 0 points since Normie Van Leer back in 1971. So he went one better on this occasion and posted the triple-double. But honestly, so look, the Thunder, it's actually been probably a better season than a lot of us thought they were going to have in terms of, they had the embarrassing 73-point loss. But other than that, they've been competitive, played. And Josh Giddey, really, to come in that number 6 pick, I don't think anyone really knew what to expect from him coming from Australia, having not really been seen over here. And he's been fantastic.
Yep.
He's definitely all NBA first rookie team. Will he win Rookie of the Year? I mean, I think it's open right now. I think it's open. Mobley is probably still my leader. Scotty Barnes is there, Cade Cunningham. So there's a lot of good candidates. But if he keeps performing at this level, he's definitely going to get some votes. He's got some Rookie of the Year MVP votes there. So who knows? But I'm just really happy to see him out there having an impact because the big question about him coming in was whether or not he could shoot. He didn't have a great shot on him, whether or not he could score in the NBA. He's shown he can do that, apart from that last game where he went for a nunfer. But he's hitting that 3 with confidence. He's got a nice little floater. He can get inside. He's got really soft touch around the rim. And some of the passes he makes, his court vision is incredible for a young guy, for a rookie. So I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for Australian basketball. He broke LaMelo Ball's record in terms of the youngest player ever to have a triple-double before him. LaMelo, of course, played in Australia the season before that. So great moment for Australian basketball for the NBL. But really just happy for Josh Giddey, happy for the Oklahoma City Thunder because that was a risky pick, I think, from Sam Presti. A lot of people thought that's a little bit high for him.
That was the pick you called.
That's the pick I called. That's absolutely right. Yeah. So, great job by him and great job from Josh Giddey. Some of those left-handed sling passes, those one-handed sling passes, they seem low percentage for me, but he really can nail them, and he's made that a part of his game. So I'm just happy for him and happy for Australia right now. Here we go. That's a great way to start, isn't it? So just make it the Homer factor.
Are you going to take the Raptors for a win of the weekend?
I could. You could. Those Raps look fantastic. But Josh Giddey, he looks like a steal at 6. If we talked about the redraft a couple weeks ago. If you were to redraft him, he'd be higher. The guys you mentioned, I think Mobley's still number 1. He looked freaking awesome on Sunday night. But Barnes, Cade, and then I think it's Giddey at 4. He's got everything. His 3-point shot could improve. What's the percentage there? Is it
26?
Yeah.
Not good. You said it looked good. He had one that was all glass last night. Yeah. After a make. And I was like,
But honestly, coming in, it was like, this guy just hasn't got any range, is what they were saying. I mean, 26% is not great, but for a rookie, it's like, okay, there's something to work with at least there. Like you expect that to improve. But
he's got it all, though. He's got the juice. He's got competitive juice. He can knock down jumpers, and he gets after it. And he can play make for sure. And he's got the flowing hair.
Oh, I was gonna say, Tass, when are you gonna bring up your tweet?
Let's see it, JD. Can we see that flowing hair? This is a little bit faster. And then he goes. If you're watching on YouTube, he goes for the little bit of a lip lick. So Leigh, I figured that you could recreate that. You got the flowing hair.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Okay,
you have to do it in slow mo though. Yeah.
Just finish washing that hair.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
A little lip lick, maybe. Fast mo. Nice.
Josh Giddey Sr.
I said it when I got a chance to go down to the Fortress and watch the Thunder play the Hawks, and like within like I don't know, it was like 12 minutes of watching him play just in person. Giddey, I'm talking about, of course, it was like, holy crap, he does have an awesome feel for the game.
Yeah.
He is seeing angles that a lot of players are not seeing in terms of like passing the ball. Got to work on his shot for sure. But man, the control and just like he's just sort of like, you know, LaMelo is like this too. There's like he's seeing angles that are not to most guys are not there, and he's like thinking 10 steps ahead. It's pretty special to watch. So good game from him. All right, Tass, let's go to you. Winner of the weekend. Yeah, sure. I already slipped the Raptors in. The Raptors are almost back. Trey, I don't know if you know this, almost back to 500, but we'll save it.
That's the first step.
Yeah, but who are you going?
Well, they're almost back to being healthy, so it makes sense that they're good. The Golden State Warriors, we went from the Bulls number 1 in the East. Let's go to the Warriors number 1 in the West. I'll take you back to 2021. The year was 2021. It was Wednesday. They had to fly to Denver because they had a game on Thursday night in Denver. But it was kind of questionable whether or not Denver had enough guys to play. So Thursday, they're just hanging around. The Warriors are hanging around. Are we going to play or not? The Nuggets had 4 guys who were questionable with injuries. And then all of a sudden, the Nuggets say, nope, those 4 guys can't play. So the Warriors were very angry, thinking the Nuggets just kind of forfeited the game because they were shorthanded. They knew they were going to lose anyways. So they're angry, not only because of that, but because they had to play in Salt Lake City on Saturday and they weren't going to fly home. They could have just hung out at home instead. But it was a blessing in disguise. That Thursday night, since they were all lathered and ready to play basketball, Klay Thompson and the rest of the Warriors starters got in a full scrimmage to see if Klay can come back. And so this is a rare occurrence in midseason to play a scrimmage with all your starters, you know, with Steph, with Iguodala, with Wiggins. And it was kind of like the dream team losing to the college players. To talk about this scrimmage that was timed and people talking about, like Steph said, I think he got up 17 shots in 12 minutes. Like Steph knows how many shots Klay got up, and he shot over 50%, Steph said. How does he know these stats? And then Andrew Wiggins, playing with Klay for the first time, said, did you see him dribble once? You know what that's going to do for our offense? Andrew Wiggins just pumped. Everybody just pumped to see Klay Thompson out there. Andrew Wiggins should also be pumped because Klay Thompson is going to come back next year and steal Andrew Wiggins' All-Star appearance that he's going to have this year. Wiggins is making the All-Star team. He's making the All-Star
team. There's been a lot of buzz about this. The Warriors won't stop saying it.
Have you seen his numbers? I mean, his numbers.
He's lights out from 3.
Everybody's efficient. But, you know, so we're talking about Klay looking really, really, really good, and I'm sure it helped him to play with the starters. And Steph has always described this season in 3 parts for the Warriors. They're obviously kicking ass in the first part, pre-Klay, then Klay, and then the warm-up for the postseason. So Klay is coming back real soon. He wants to do it at home for his home crowd. Not going to be tonight, I don't think. And then they play a couple games on the road, and then they come home Sunday for Cleveland. Steve Kerr said Klay will be a starter, and it's amazing to see the infectious desire that Klay has. It's like us talking about basketball. You just can't you can't dislike basketball when you look at Klay Thompson. The guy just loves it so much, and I'm excited. Yeah, the Warriors win of the weekend because they beat the Jazz. Who cares? They're taking care of everybody. But
that was a good win without Draymond Green.
Yes, they're good. They're very, very good, and they took care of a team that they could easily see in the playoffs, and a team that, if we're going back to the Warriors championship run, kind of bothered them a little bit defensively. But, yeah, the Warriors would handle them no problem, I think, unfortunately for the Jazz. But, yeah, very excited to see Klay Thompson play basketball again. And I don't think he's going to disrupt their flow at all. He's going to come in as a starter, and he's going to be great. He's not going to be like that. We're going to talk about the Nets a little bit later with Kyrie Irving coming back. That could be a disruption, because he's only playing half the games, minus playing in Toronto and Madison Square Garden. Can't play on the road and these other 2 places. But, Klay is I got to see this footage. It's Dream Team footage. And we
have to read a book about it.
There was 24 straight shots, that video going around, 24 straight threes that he made, if you saw that. He looks good.
Turns out he can still shoot.
It's Klay Thompson.
I know. How is this surprising at all?
Yeah, I will never watch a practice video.
Yeah,
like, wow, an NBA player who's one of the greatest shooters is still making threes. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when Klay Thompson comes back, the rest of the league is in trouble. The Warriors are probably the title favorites through the first third of the season, and they're adding the 77th greatest player in NBA history. And obviously he's still got it. He's probably not going to be quite as good defensively, but guess what? They've got Wiggins to step in. Maybe he will be an all-star. The numbers are great. 43% from 3, 19 points per game. It's a matter of who's going to be healthy at all-star time.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously the Warriors record is going to be really good. They're going to be one of the top couple of teams. So maybe they'll get 3 all-stars, but my guess would be that they get 2, Curry and Green.
Yeah, what do you think, Leigh?
Yeah.
I don't think Wiggins is going to make the All-Star.
No, but the hype machine is working right now because he's playing well. The Warriors are winning, and it's like if you're the best team with the best record, maybe you deserve 3, and so maybe he can squeeze in.
But the Suns are like right on their ass. The Jazz are right on their ass. Both of those teams probably deserve 2 guys.
I mean, look, he obviously won't get in as the fan vote, so it'll have to come back to the coaches.
Yeah.
Now, will the coaches say, okay, this has been a great season and you deserve it based on this season alone, or will they be like, we need to see a bit more of this from Andrew Wiggins because he's had flashes before. Wiggins Island isn't just a thing from like a season ago. It's been going for like 5 years because that's what happens. But this is, I think, the most consistent long period that he's had where he's been like playing well. He still doesn't do tons outside of just shooting and scoring. So he needs.
But he also doesn't do the stuff that's bad anymore.
Right.
Like the like
mid-range
2 dribbles and I'm taking a 20-footer. That kills his efficiency. Now he's just like, I'm shooting catch and shoot 3s.
Yeah. And that's
smart.
And that's what I think the Warriors have figured out. Like that's the best version of him. So he's definitely got a strong case because of the way he's playing and the Warriors record. Does he get in at that position?
It's all about the rest of the roster, the all-star roster. It's kind of like Eric Bledsoe with the Bucks a couple of years ago. The Bucks are going to get 2, and then are they going to get a 3rd because they're the number 1 seed? They have to finish number 1. But it kind of helps that Phoenix only has sort of 1.5. Booker kind of missed games, so they're not guaranteed 2. They're not getting 3.
No.
The same sort of goes for. The Jazz are getting 2. Yeah, the Jazz are getting 2.
So Klay is not going to come back tonight by the looks of it.
Doesn't look like it.
But you're saying you think Sunday, January 9th against the Cavs at home, and if that doesn't happen, then they're on the road for a good chunk of games. And so possibly, if he doesn't come back on the 9th, maybe the 18th, Tuesday.
Yeah, but he's ready. Did you see him hit 24 straight threes?
I think he comes back on the 9th. You know what? Let's just run with it. Somebody tweet it. Sources say the No Dunks Classic Factory says Klay Thompson is coming back on the 9th. Okay, a couple other winners. I'm just going to chuck at you guys. Jaylen Brown deserves mention here on today's show. Scored a career high 50 to go along with 11 boards, 4 assists. Won a beauty behind the back in overtime to sort of seal the game. 2 blocks and a steal. He played 46 minutes as the Celtics got honestly a much needed victory against the Magic. That would have been a bad loss. He just dragged them to a win. Like, no, we're not losing this game, and they pull it off. So that's huge. He became the 7th Celtics player to score 50 in a regular season game. It's trivia time here in the Classic Factory. Okay. Some of them are very obvious, but can you name the other Celtics players to score 50 in a regular season game? Let's go around the table. Let's start with Tass.
Pierce,
correct.
Tatum,
correct.
Larry.
Yeah, I was going to say Larry. All right. Then it gets a little more difficult.
Yes, McHale did.
Yeah.
McHale did.
Oh, okay. This is tough.
There's one
Antoine Walker.
No.
Close.
One oldie and one
49,
somewhat not that long ago.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas.
Thomas. Good job. Oldie. Classic short name.
Sam Jones. That's a very short name. 8 letters.
Sam
Rest
Jones.
in peace, Sam.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, it's just recently passing. So yeah, Jaylen Brown gets the Celtics the victory there. So that's pretty damn important. I saw Tim.
Important because they almost lost to the Orlando Magic.
I know.
And Orlando blew this one.
I know. Well, this is what I was going to say. Tim Bontemps wrote for ESPN. This is perfect. Sunday's game, a microcosm in many ways of Boston's entire season. Celtics on a roller coaster ever since this season began. Impressive highs and devastating lows. And it happened in this game. Yeah. Like Bontemps was pointing out, they were up big, then they gave it all back, and they're down big, and they somehow got back.
They were getting booed at the start of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Boston's weird. Just weird. And I mean, it's kind of like, it's very Marcus Smarty as well. I feel like Marcus Smart did a pretty good job of passing the ball yesterday, but like, he's so up and down that when he's up, you got to win those games. And that's what Jaylen said afterwards, right? We just had to get a fucking win. Yeah. He was pretty upset, and they 100% needed a win. So to put a 50 on the board, even if it's an overtime, we'll count it.
Yeah. One more here. Winner of the weekend. Hamidou Diallo. We never talk about Hami or the Pistons at this point, really, unless we're talking about Cade Cunningham. But he played a game-high 49 minutes, scored 34 points, 14 boards, 5 steals in the game there on Saturday, the overtime victory. Sadiq Bey hit a crazy game winner in the corner in that one to get them the victory. He is averaging, Diallo, though, 31 and 10 over his last 3 games with 4.3 steals per game too. And I bring this up because he's getting a ton of opportunity here because Jerami Grant is out. So he's getting a chance to flourish here. And I just want to spin that into an Athletic article from James Edwards III, who brought up basically Pistons trades that they could make in moving Jerami Grant. And I just wanted to throw a couple of them at you guys and just get your take on it. Because his question of the article is like, what could you get back for Jerami Grant if the Pistons were to move on him? Because he goes through it like there's not a lot of other guys that the Pistons would be looking to move. You're not moving off of Cade Cunningham. You're probably not moving off a lot of your second-year guys yet. Diallo looks pretty good for them right now. You're probably not moving him. So if it's Grant, what could you get back? The Bulls came up. Trey, interested to hear your take on Derek Jones Jr., Matt Thomas, and then Patrick Williams as the enticing part for the Pistons, and the Grant would go to the Bulls.
Do it.
Do it.
The Bulls have a chance this year. I mean, they're a few pieces away. They need some size. They need a backup big. They need somebody to spell Vucevic, and they need somebody bigger on the wing, which would be Jerami Grant.
Yeah.
If they're going to have any sort of chance against Durant, if Kawhi Leonard would ever come back, LeBron, if they somehow met in the finals, that kind of thing. That's the piece that's missing. That's the piece that theoretically would have been Patrick Williams. Yeah. He's out for the year. You would be going even more all in for a team that's traded a whole bunch of picks. But for what they're giving up, Derek Jones Jr., his contract's going to be over soon. Matt Thomas is barely a rotation guy. And Patrick Williams, you're kind of like, it would be awesome if you became Jerami Grant. Like, that would be a great outcome. So why not get a Jerami Grant while you can? Make a run at it. I would think they would be a conference finalist contender, widely held if they got Jerami Grant.
Yeah. Great. The Bulls should, but why would the Pistons do that? I don't see
Patrick
why.
Williams is good.
I think the Pistons would actually consider that. I do.
I just think you can aim a little higher than Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams has been fine.
You can probably get better than Patrick.
Yeah, that would be my goal.
Okay, I'll give you a couple other possibilities then. There is trading for Miles Turner. Basically, it's sort of a 1-for-1. I mean, you might have to add somebody to make the numbers work. What would you think of that from either side, Pacers or Pistons?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really much of an improvement either way. I mean, if you're the Pacers and you say we're going to move off from Miles Turner and get Jerami Grant, if you're a Pacers fan, do you go, oh, awesome? Or do you just go, oh, okay, well, I guess that's it. We're just done with Miles Turner. There's just not much. Like, if you're a Pacers fan right now, you want to see clearly, like, okay, this is the direction we're moving in. Mm-hmm. Jerami Grant is like, okay, good player, athletic, defensively, you can get out there and get amongst it. But does it really change anything? You'd want to see like a draft pick coming back as well. So like, okay, we get a quality player and we get an asset in the future. But if you're just going to make that move, it's like, it's not going to really change the fortunes either way. If you're the Pistons and you get Miles Turner, it's like, great, he's an improvement, I guess. But I think there's more to be done in that deal.
Yeah, a couple of the other ones were Grant to the Hawks, basically with Josh Jackson, let's say, for Gallinari and Cam Reddish. I don't really get why I guess Jerami Grant is a better player than Cam Reddish and of course Gallinari at this point of his career. So maybe it makes a little more sense for Atlanta. For Detroit, I don't love that. I would rather have Patrick Williams. Although Cam Reddish showed some flashes here, getting some opportunity.
Cam Reddish, the hype is hot right now.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't get much hotter than this. It's potential. He's got to come show it in the next year or so, but he's shown lots of good flashes.
And then the final one to the Grizzlies, Jerami Grant and Corey Joseph for Kyle Anderson, Melton, Zaire Williams, and then a first-round pick. What do you think, Leigh?
Kyle Anderson seems to be on the out there in Memphis. So
they got a lot of damn good guys.
Yeah. What did you say, Corey Joseph?
It's Jerami Grant and Corey Joseph.
Yeah, that's not bad for the Grizzlies. Yeah, I don't mind that on the surface. I'd have to dig a little deeper, but...
Well, go read James Edwards III article at theathletic.com/no-dunk so they know that we sent you. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And the whole point of that was Diallo is playing really, really well here for Detroit, at least in terms of putting up numbers. Seeing a lot of crazy numbers from guys, though, because they're getting some they're getting big minutes.
Every player is good.
He also lost by 35 points in one of those games. So
yes,
that's another number.
Yes, that's true. That's a great number. You know any other numbers?
I got a few up the old sleeve. Yeah,
I've got a couple right now. I got 2 numbers because we got a couple ad reads. DK, what do you got?
Did y'all make New Year's resolutions?
Yeah.
Nice. Me too. One of them, my main one, is that I need to figure out how to play the electric guitar part to Maria Maria by Santana and the Project G&B. I've worked out the basics, but I really want to master this. for next year's New Year's Eve to be able to play it as a performance.
Oh, wow.
Because Tass put on his own performance at New Year's Eve this year to Maria, and I would like to up the ante next year. And that's why I was delighted to see that Masterclass has a course on guitar, and it's taught by Carlos Santana. Wow. Yeah, over 16 lessons that take a little more than 3 hours. Santana teaches the art and soul of guitar. I'm not sure if Maria is included specifically, but I wouldn't be surprised because with Masterclass, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. You can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at any pace. Right now, you can get unlimited access to every Masterclass and 15% off an annual membership by going to masterclass.com/nodunks. That's masterclass.com/nodunks for 15% off an annual membership. Guess what, though?
What?
Terms apply.
I like these live ad reads here in the classroom. You got to sell. Forget the people watching or listening. You got to sell us.
I had to sell you on New Year's resolutions first before I could even get you to Masterclass.
Oh, I lied. I definitely didn't make one, but I felt like you wanted us to say yes.
Yes, and.
Gotta do it.
That's a Masterclass in improv from Tass Mellis.
Yeah.
Terms apply.
Yeah. Thank you for the pass off. You guys know I'm a Peloton boy.
Oh, yeah.
So this is an easy ad read for me. In December, I was looking for a plan in Peloton for something to do. It's a goal. I saw my girl, Jess Sims, who's an instructor on Peloton. She was doing the hashtag 3 for 31, 3 miles per day for 31 days. I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I'll give it a shot. December 1st, I ran 3 miles. That's when I decided, no way am I running 31 days, 3 miles each day. Way too much. But there's a substitute. You can take classes. You can do movement. You can do a lot of strength stuff. I love the strength classes. So I did 19, 20 straight days. It was fun. It was a blast because they've always got these new classes. They're always changing them. Those days when I really, really didn't want to work out, I found a fun run. I ran to Usher for 30 minutes, got that over with. There's always new artists that they're producing. It's a blast. At the end of the year, I did a boxing class. I did a top 10 hits from the year that were played on Peloton, just to keep things fresh. Did I love every song? No, but it didn't matter. I enjoyed myself running, strength, yoga. I even did outdoor runs with the app because it's not minus 42 degrees here. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you can.
They do outdoor runs.
Yeah, they got the outdoor runs. Like, you could do it. Run through that wall. They've got some instruction in there. Yeah, while they play the music. And again,
left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot.
One step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. You can do it. But yes, you don't need the equipment with Peloton. You just need the app. And actually, they've got a deal for the app for a limited time. Try the Peloton app for 2 free months, then $12.99 per month after that. New members only. Visit onepeloton.com/app to learn more. That's 2 months free at ONEPELOTON.com. Offer expires January 31st. I didn't know that. And also, terms apply.
Very important terms apply. I like the music coming in the background here, JD, for these live ad reads.
Yeah, it's nice.
It gives it a little something.
Yeah, separates it from the rest of the show,
For sure. Oh, maybe we should just start playing music throughout the entire show, though. Really puts me in a good mood.
Does it?
Yeah, like play something right now. Anything. Just play an ad read again if you want. Because we're going to talk about
Go and get the guitar.
the
Trey.
losers of the NBA weekend. No, you're right. It's too silly once the music's there. Tass, why don't you get us started with losers of the NBA weekend? Where are you going?
This one will be a quick one. The Brooklyn Nets, look, they lost a game on Saturday. Good teams lose games at times, but they lost it to a shell of a team in the Clippers who didn't have anybody. They didn't have 4 of their starters, PG, Kawhi, Marcus Morris, Zubats, and then 3 rotation guys in their lineup. And they were up 11 in the fourth. The Nets should have walked away with this one, but Eric Bledsoe came out of nowhere to carry this team. And that's where the trade that they had in the offseason, they traded Patrick Beverley and Rajon Rondo for Bledsoe, is really paying off right now. A guy who's played a lot of minutes in this league, has been a borderline all-star. He took over at the last 6 minutes of this game, scored 10 points, ended with 27. He was running the offense. He's played in every game this season. I've heard the best talent is availability, which is a pile of hooey. However, he is out there and he's playing, and they got to win. listen, this Nets team is still phenomenal. But I think when we're talking about a championship team, when we're talking about that cream of the crop, I just wonder how they're going to implement Kyrie. Can all those parts work together here for the last 45 games when Kyrie's going to play in 22 of them, maybe 20 of them, whatever it is? I think he's available for 20 of them. Or are they going to throw the 1 seed or the 2 seed so they can play on the road and Kyrie Irving can play in 4 of 7 games rather than 3 of 7 games if he's not vaccinated by at that point? Which is a little bit nuts to think about, but that's going to be a legitimate conversation we have in a few months. So, they're just not all together all the time, which is totally fine in the regular season. But one other reason I wanted to give them a loser is because we talked about this last week. We're a bunch of sickos on this show watching far too much basketball. And I worry about Kevin Durant doing the same thing. After this game, KD, who's definitely going to tweet me after this from his burner account, but he said when the Clippers beat them, they had guys coming off the bench beating us. Xavier Moon came in and hit some shots for them. Keon Johnson, James Ennis. How does he know every guy that's playing on the Clippers in this day and age? I feel that's a little bit bonkers for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant needs a new hobby, and I know he's investing. I know he's in the boardroom and he's got all that going on. But I just don't want him to go.
Hot boy, I think too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got some stuff on the go. I'm not worried about Kevin Durant, but I just don't want him to go down the same path as us watching Kings.
You're gonna end up
Kings
in a garage.
Mavs Wednesday night. Yeah,
sitting at a ping pong table, talking with your buddies.
So, get off that path, KD. Get off that path. You'll be all right. But listen, I also wanted to talk about the Clippers just because Terrence Mann hit a big shot in the corner after airballing it. He came back and did it. Justice Winslow is looking like himself, sort of, kind of, for the last couple of games, but he's looking better. And so the Clippers are staying afloat now at a point where their season could just go kapooey. It could go real bad right now with Paul George out for several weeks. But they're hopefully treading water for them because this is a really, really, really key time for them this next month here, especially with a lot of games on the road.
In regards to the Nets, how concerned are you about them implementing Kyrie here in what should be next couple of weeks? I think.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a challenge for sure for Steve Nash, because how do you game plan one night knowing that maybe for the next 3 games the guy simply can't play? He's not able to play. So that's going to be the challenge, to get a guy and just say, all right, we need you to go out there, score, shoot, be a big part of the offense, but then you won't be there. So how do you balance that every night? It's going to be tough. And Steve Nash actually is starting to catch a few strays on line for the way that they close out that game against the Clippers there defensively. And Kevin Durant also deservedly got some as well, because his defense on that closeout on Terrence Mann was abysmal. Mm-hmm. John Schumann pointing that out yesterday, that clip. I remember watching it live thinking it was bad, but it's tough for a guy to come in. It's like he's healthy, but he can't play. So does he start? I think so. I think he goes straight into that starting lineup. But then how do you just adjust each game for that? That's going to be something that I wouldn't want to have that challenge, because coaches always talk about wanting to have continuity and the right players and that sort of mindset game to game, and it's going to have to be adaptable. Mm-hmm. So, and Kyrie, I mean, what sort of shape is he in? I mean, I imagine for the last couple of weeks he's been working out to get himself game ready, but he's also going to have to take some time to adjust. So I guess it's a good problem because he's a good player.
It's a weird problem, that's for sure. It's because he's going to come back and score 25, 30 points.
Right, but he looks great in practice.
Yeah, he is, but then it's going to be strange. Like you said, now they're going on a road trip and he's like not playing. What if they drop those games? And there's a resentment from other guys in the locker. Like, I mean, that's
there should be, I think, because the guys are like, well, this guy's only coming around when it suits him to play. But the other thing is, Kyrie offensively fantastic, but defensively as well, which is a big problem for the Nets right now. He doesn't help them on that end. So that's also going to be something that Steve Nash has to figure out a way to get everyone, to be able to play together, and it wouldn't be easy to do that.
Trey, who do you have for a loser of the NBA weekend?
Let's stay in New York. Couple of bad ones for the Bing Bongs over the weekend. They lost on Friday to the Thunder, only scored 80 points, a season low for the Knicks and the fewest that OKC has allowed. And then the Knicks got smacked by the Raptors yesterday in a game with no fans. A season high 35.
Hey, Masai Ujiri was in the crowd.
Masai Ujiri, best seats in the house. Yeah. He had every seat in the house that he wanted. Also, Matt Devlin kept calling Fred VanVleet, season high 35, kept calling him Freddie All-Star.
Yeah, they're really pushing that.
I understand, but you like the nickname Freddie All-Star?
Not really.
Yeah,
I think he's got such an awesome name as it is.
Exactly. Van Vliet sounds so good.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if he makes a run. Nice game for Freddie, though. The Knicks, though, they are super shorthanded right now, as many teams are, between health and safety protocols and injuries. Most important for them, they got no Julius Randle, and that's the problem. When they don't have Julius Randle, they don't really look like a real NBA team, but he also hasn't been as good as he was last season as an all-NBA player. So when he's gone, the Knicks really don't have anything to hang their hat on. They're 22nd in offense after trying to bring in more offense. That cost their defense. They're now 18th in defense. They're 11th in the Eastern Conference. You might think, nice, they've got 8 of their next 10 at home. But as Leigh has told us, they're worse at home than they are playing on the road. So not great for the Knicks. They had a 3-game win streak. That was nice. Kemba Walker's been missing some time here. He missed these last 2 games. They need one of Randall or Walker back or Derrick Rose, somebody to really initiate the offense, or else you're scoring 80 against the Thunder. Bad news bears.
It is weird to think that the Raptors have a better record than the Knicks right now. Just when you when you take just a big picture, zoom out of the season, started so incredibly with the Bing Bong Knicks, and the Raptors, disappointing, guys in and out of the lineup, and like every team's been hit with this now, but it's just weird. They have a better record at this point, Tass. And the Knicks, this is a strange season. This is a strange. Do you struggle right now in sort of like figuring out a lot of these teams because of a million guys out of the lineup? Then they're back, then they're out. It's like you don't want to put too much stock into some of these results, right?
Yeah.
But then you're sort of forced to. So,
but it is an unprecedented season for that reason. It's difficult for teams to obviously play with all these G League call-ups, but which team comes out of that playing really well?
Right.
So those are all different situations. It's it's a little bubble-ish for me. It's just unprecedented,
it's almost
like it was
crazier
2020
than the bubble, though, right? Like, that ended up being insane because it somehow brought the Heat together, living like at Disney World and making coffee for each other. But
everybody had their roster. Generally, everybody had their roster, and so this part is different. Everybody should have their roster in January, February, but teams like the Toronto Raptors, I mean, they look like a different team when they've got 6 arms that belong to Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby just came back. Yeah. They look so different. And Fred VanVleet's a really good defender at the point guard position. And then whoever you throw in as the 5th, it's a joy to watch them play defense. And so, they're coming out, I think, and are looking great. It is crazy to think, yes, the Raptors have a better record than the New York Knicks, but they are not an NBA team, as Trey said. Without Julius Randle, they've got so many guys who haven't played a lot in the NBA currently playing for them. So it is a different season than the bubble in that regard. Who's going to come out of it? And the Raps, they look good.
Look good with their entire squad, that's for sure. We'll see if they can continue to string together these wins. Who do you have for the weekend?
Well, remember a couple of weeks ago when I said the Jazz were going to break the Suns' regular season win streak record, and then they went out and dropped 2 in a row?
Yeah.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I gave the Minnesota Timberwolves a winner because they had a big weekend. They beat the Lakers. Anthony Edwards was out. It was a big emotional victory. Since then, they've dropped 5 of 7. So
very Wolves-like.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I think we were trying to warn you to be careful.
Exactly. Now, same thing with it. They're missing, Russell and Towns obviously didn't play last night in LA against a team, but they've beaten twice. The Lakers beat them in Los Angeles, and they did beat them in that game in Minnesota. And in fact, they led in the 4th quarter of this one last night, still shorthanded. So they had a chance to pull this one out, couldn't do it. So, that's an acceptable loss considering everything. Lakers obviously without Anthony Davis, but LeBron and Westbrook and everyone played. So the reason I'm bringing them up as a loser, because this is for them an opportunity to just put a little distance though between those other teams like the Spurs and the Pelicans that were down there further, and they haven't been able to do that. So they've got to cash in if they can. They play the Clippers next. Again, who knows who's going to be playing on each team right there. But for the Wolves, they have to be one of the teams that benefit from this situation of playing these other teams that are missing a guy or two here and there, even though they're missing their best couple of players, although Edwards played last night. But I'm pulling for the Wolves. I'm pulling for them to make it, and they've had a chance in these last few games and just not been able to quite just pick up a win where they could have. So they're not a loser because they've been a disaster. They just haven't been able to cash in and get a couple of extra wins and, just put themselves in that position, because the Spurs are right there And
Kings are right there.
Exactly. The Kings got a huge win last night against the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler missed a one that sort of bobbled around the end, which would have only tied the game. But De'Aaron Fox was great in that game, by the way. Kyle Guy, I know him for he's easily my favorite sort of pickup guy because he looks like he was playing pickup ball out in the street. And someone said, "Hey, he's not bad. You want to go and play for Miami?"
Yeah, has this been shattering for you a little bit?
Yes.
Because you haven't gotten a 10-day call up, and if it's like not happening at this point, then it's never going to happen.
I mean, Joe Johnson got a call up, like he's in his 40s. Yeah. I mean,
Can't believe they picked him over
like,
you.
surely someone should say, we may as well throw him out there right now,
Right.
But
especially the Hawks too are like down 15 guys. You're right. Well, you weren't here. You timed that incorrectly. They don't have a team bam.
Hey, and I saw Klay Thompson hit 24 from that corner. That's my corner. I hit 11 in a row from that corner in the NBA TV studio. So, I mean, anyway.
Footage is out there.
It is. But anyway, like I'm pulling for the Wolves. That's what I'm trying to say here. And you just feel like, again, last night against a team they really play well against this season, had a chance late, but didn't quite close it out.
Yeah, the Lakers getting the victory there. I got to give a loser of the weekend to the Rockets, but maybe specifically Kevin Porter Jr. This is a weird story if you don't know it. He left the arena during halftime of Saturday night's home game against the Nuggets after a heated exchange in the locker room with Houston assistant coach John Lucas. Now, Shams, his sources said Lucas was calling out multiple players because they were getting their asses handed to them. He specifically called out Kevin Porter Jr. And how he was playing. His focus, I guess, and then Christian Wood, his sort of effort level. And Wood was already in trouble because he was getting benched after missing a mandatory COVID-19 testing window. So with all this going on, things got, again, heated in the locker room. They escalated, and Kevin Porter Jr. threw an object. Now, do we know what was thrown? It's not soup, right?
I haven't heard the object.
I don't know if it was soup, but he had to be separated from Lucas, and then he just got in his car and left the arena. And Wood refused to sub in for the second half. I mean, it's sort of funny, but it's also really disappointing, especially Kevin Porter Jr. when you think that the Cavs moved off of him a first-round pick for, what was it? It was nothing. It was like a top 55 protected pick. They were like, we don't want the headache of this guy because he's a bit of a disruption. And so, everybody got excited. Oh, he's going to get a chance, going to get minutes in Houston. There's going to be no pressure. And he's possibly blowing it again here. Like, you don't want to see this happen too many times, Tass, because you're going to be out of the league. There's a bunch of 10-day call-up guys that will take your job because they're not a nuisance, is the truth.
And he's come out and apologized.
Yeah,
is that right?
It's a good start.
Yeah, well, it's probably not enough at this point. But yeah, it's someone they were trying to implement and really trying to see what they could get out of him. So that's very unfortunate. Now, I conflate the story with Antonio Brown and what happened in football. And you just said that Kevin Porter Jr. got in his car and drove away, while Antonio Brown, he got a cab.
Or an Uber.
Yeah. And the Uber driver, what a great opportunity to interview Antonio Brown. Just had the camera on him. Like he showed Antonio Brown for a second and then just started talking. What are you doing? This could be the break of your media career, cab driver. But anyways, didn't work out, and it's not working out for Kevin Porter Jr. You just have to figure things out. The Christian Wood scenario is a little bit more confounding to me. That Christian Wood didn't want to re-enter the game. That's shocking to me. I think that Christian Wood would have a better grip on things. I just don't know what happened in that locker room for those guys to fall apart. I don't know if it's lack of leadership, but it's unfortunate because it seemed like the Rockets had it all together.
Yeah, what do you make of this whole Rocket situation here?
Well, I think this is what happens when you tank away 2 seasons. Sometimes, they lost 15 straight games, somehow won 7, and then now they've lost 7 in a row, and they've been getting beat pretty badly in these 7 games. So obviously tensions are running high. Steven Silas was on the hot seat early in the season. We're like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you on the hot seat? But obviously there are some sort of problems in the locker room, and I think it's compounded by the fact that Kevin Porter Jr. has been pretty bad this season. He's shooting 36% from the floor, and he's been replaced in the hierarchy of Houston with Jaylen Green coming in. He's starting to show some signs here, playing a little bit better. So I think it's just a bunch of events kind of all piling on top of each other. All of the losses, plus, maybe a replacement feeling like, if I don't make it happen now, it's not going to happen. So I don't know. But If I were other teams, I would be calling on Christian Wood. I think he's a talented guy, and I think he's just probably pouting his way out of Houston to try to end up in a better place, like maybe Chicago, where he could win a championship.
That's a possibility.
He's got the talent, no doubt. It's just
Exactly.
It's just the attitude. But again, when you're on a team that's like, listen, we're losing, there's no leadership. Guys sort of do turn on each other a bit because they all kind of want to play their way to a better situation. But it's not always that easy. So, and Kevin Porter Jr. for a young guy like that to have already had two sort of pretty bad disciplinary things is not a good sign. He's a talent. There's no question about his talent, but it's like you might just play your way out of the league. So they need to improve. Christian Wood, I think a lot of teams would love to have that guy on their roster because he can spread the floor. He's a big guy. He's athletic. But also you got to just, make sure you're getting the best version of him. He's got a bit of a Hassan Whiteside vibe, Hassan Whiteside, remember, could easily pile up the stats, but his effort and attitude were the things that have held him back in his career.
Flourishing in Utah, though, by all accounts.
He's having a fantastic, got a great role there.
Maturity comes into play.
Yeah, it does. And also I think because he realizes like this probably might be the last chance I get. He had that huge contract there with the Heat, but then moved off from that. And now he's in a situation where it's like, the Jazz have been able to get really solid production out of him, and that to me is just a huge bonus.
So we had KPJ leaving at halftime, Antonio Brown in the football game on the weekend. Have you ever left at halftime of a sporting event? Just said, Dickie's not playing me enough. I'm out of here.
Wow, walk it out.
No, not while I've been playing. I always had a thing, to sit at the end of the game no matter what, especially if you buy your ticket. But there was one game, the Raptors and the Blazers back in 2006, and the Raptors were just getting spanked.
Right.
And I was like, I'm done. Halfway
let's
through
go catch the end of the Flames.
Yeah. Oh, the Flames. You want to talk a little puck, eh?
Standing on his head over here. Let's hear from everybody out there in the stream team, Pod Squad, your NBA weekend winners and losers. You can drop them in the YouTube comments below. You can tweet at us at No Dunks Inc. We did have a trade. Huge blockbuster that I really should have started the show with, but let's get everybody's take on it. Friday, the Lakers agreed to trade Rondo to Cleveland for Denzel Valentine, which I'm sure a lot of people were like, what? He's on the Cavs? I think that probably confused some people, but not a massive deal here, but Cavs desperate for any sort of guard play, and they saw an opening here. What do you think?
Is Rajon Rondo going to mess up my Cavs? That's the question.
That's the question, man.
I think
hasn't played yet, right?
Well, he hasn't played yet. They're lacking everybody. Rubio out, Colin Sexton out, Darius Garland out with health and safety protocols. So they take on anybody. I watched them win last night. They scrapped it out. Kevin Pangos is their starter, and Brandon Goodwin played really well off the bench. He was a former Hawk. He's only played there a couple games now, just game number 2. So he even tweeted after the game saying, don't worry, Cleveland, I got this. Just a little bit of a slow start. I think those two guys should be the ones playing minutes, and Rondo should sort of be the break glass in case of emergency type guy. That's the way I see it. I don't really see him doing much more than that, but you need hands at this point. So that's the way I look at it.
What do you think, Trey?
I kind of think Rondo will have a big role just being a veteran and theoretically providing the same sort of veteran presence that Rubio does. We will see if that's the case, but the Cavs needed to do something. Pangos did a fine job filling in, but they want to have a veteran point guard out there who can run the show and maybe take them back to the playoffs. So to only give up Denzel Valentine, who's going to be waived by the Lakers, smooth move, even if Rondo's kind of fallen off the face of the earth after that title.
Yeah, I saw Hollinger write for The Athletic, of course. He was like, why Rondo instead of a G League call-up? But then he points out, you know why? Because everyone that can actually play any minutes at the point guard position is already called up in all of these hardship deals. So his reasoning is, you just sort of survive with Rondo here for how many games you need to once he's back, hopefully, into the rotation. And then a couple weeks from now, you've got a chance to look at all these guys that were up on these hardship call-ups, and maybe pick which one you'd like in the rosters. That makes some sense, though I know how you feel about Rondo, so you're probably terrified.
I'm not terrified. I just don't think at this stage of his career he's going to offer much to that team. He didn't do – the Hawks signed him to that contract. They got rid of him before even one season. He barely played on the Clippers last season when they traded for him 2 second-round picks, I think, to get him. He went back to Lakers, and he wasn't even playing really for them. He wasn't having much of an impact. So, to go to a team that is really desperate just for any backcourt help, he will get some minutes. But what is he going to provide for them? I'm not really sure he offers a whole lot because he doesn't shoot. That's not his strength at all. So they just needed basically a break open in case of emergency guy, and they obviously need Garland back as soon as Sexton. I believe he is out for the season, isn't he? So Garland, they need him back, and Rubio's obviously a devastating blow. The guy blow his ACL again after the season he was having. The story there in Cleveland is just devastating. But good win last night. Kevin Love was again very, very good for them. But right now, with all these players out of nowhere getting plucked out of the sky to play, and Denzel Valentine gets waived.
Well, apparently now, according to Shams, he's going to the New York Knicks.
Oh, okay. The stream team saying that as well.
Right. Okay. So
he's still in the league.
But man, that's a tough break, isn't it? Right now, where it's like, guys that just no one's ever heard of are playing, and you're getting waived. So I didn't think it was that bad. But,
I was wondering here with Cleveland. Remember there was those years in Phoenix where, like, if you were an old guy and like you had an injury, like just make your way to Phoenix and they'd like rehabilitate you and bring you back. Yeah, they had that awesome staff. Is there something similar going on in Cleveland when it comes to like older guys suddenly like finding that spark again? Like Rubio for sure. Kevin Love, have you seen what Kevin Love's been doing the last like 4 or 5 days? Like amazing. Yeah. So maybe there's a hope that Rondo's suddenly triple-double Rondo.
He needs a best friend. He needs a best buddy there. Rubio and Kevin Love obviously had their Minnesota relationship, so the Cavs got to find somebody from the Celtics days, like I don't know, bring in Scalabrini or something to play alongside Rondo. It'd be interesting to see.
All right, we got to take one more break here. When we come back, though, we'll get to Tweet of the Night and start a brand new month of pick'ems. But it goes to me because it's a new year, which means it's time to leave behind the things that don't serve you, like overdraft fees. When your checking account balance is running low, the last thing you need is an overdraft fee. Hell yeah. But with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, you can save that hard-earned paper without paying overdraft fees. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals with absolutely no overdraft fees. How many times can I say overdraft fees?
I thought we were leaving those behind, man.
Make your first good decision in 2022 and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and it doesn't affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/nodunks. That's chime.com/nodunks. And man, got the small print here with this one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. See chime.com/nodunks. You ever use Chime?
Yes.
There you go. This guy, an improv master.
I have.
Yeah.
Leaving draft fees, overdraft fees behind in 2021. We got to be able to just drop that in there, though. I don't think we need to read that every time.
What,
read
the
small print. Yeah.
I thought I nailed it.
You did good. Well, I was kind of over your shoulder while I hesitated. Yeah. It says see chime.com/spot me. No dunks.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's because with the fine print, go to chime.com/spot me. I think that's where you get the details.
Well, that's what I'm spotting you, man. I'm spotting you right here. I spot you.
But
you spot me.
For us, we would really encourage you to chime.com/nodunks.
Hey, I've been there.
Can you quickly check if both websites work? URLs work for me? I'm just kidding. Okay, let's get to Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the Night. Wow.
Tweet of the Night. It's very simple. It's back to Josh Giddey.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's Giddey related, and it's from our good friend Blake Murphy up in Canada. Eh? I just chuckled from this tweet. Nothing more, nothing less. He tweeted the cool thing about being the youngest to get a triple double is that the guy you just beat can't do anything about it now. Old ass. And it's just a great point. It's like a pretty good record to get. It's like, hey, you old ass LaMelo, you're never going to be able to beat that.
Never going to be younger.
Right now somebody else could come along, but it ain't going to be him.
Yeah.
So there you go. Great tweet from Blake. Did you consider bringing it up when you were talking about Giddey in the first one?
No, I saw a lot of tweets out there, but I just left it.
I was on Twitter.
Yeah. You, back to DeRozan's game winners. Correct me if I'm wrong. You did a little split screen work.
Yeah, I did.
With both of the game winners side by side.
Yeah, on the old iMovie, just on the phone there. Yeah. I just got the clips and then put them in the old iMovie.
Yeah.
When I look back at it, I
yeah.
should have just tweaked the Pacers one because he just comes out of frame, then he comes in. And I could have moved it over, but it's a little bit finicky there with the old thumb movement. But yeah,
Were you in the airport doing that?
No. I was just
you're
at home, but I was where was I? I don't know. I guess it was just on my phone. I had them. I had the games going on the computer, and I was like, I don't want to do it on there. I'll just do it on the phone, see if I can. And it came together.
Great engagement.
Not bad engagement. Yeah, not bad engagement. What about the comment that I put on it as well? The DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I thought that was really forced.
Well, how so? I mean, he's DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
That's more.
It doesn't read well.
Wow. See, I think it does because I think you're combining. It's like
It's not duh. It's deja.
but it's DE.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why it looks better than I think it reads
Right.
better
Yeah,
than it
that's what I
sounds.
meant.
Right,
It reads
yeah.
better than when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
It's like you saying it out loud. I actually hate it.
It sounds good.
Are we still
Yeah.
on air yet?
Yeah, we are. I thought it feels like we've been sitting here for 3 hours, if I'm being honest, but it's not that long, so we're good. So pick 'em results. Just quickly here, back to 2021, December 30th. If you remember, when it was just Tass and I, at that point, I guess we were on the old StreamYards there with Andrew Schlecht filling in for JD doing the producer's work. We were tied. It was that game. It was the Cavs-Wizards game. It was going to decide who loses the month. Depending on what happened in that game, I took Washington. You took Cleveland. It was a small line, and Washington kicked the snot out of them. A pretty dominant victory. It was, I was, obviously keep my eye on it. I wasn't a true sicko on December 30th watching Cavs Wizards, but definitely keep my eye on it. And they got the victory, so I won.
I
Woo!
blind faith. That was my homer pick. I picked the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm not a sicko. I totally forgot Darius Garland was out. So that was a struggle in the backcourt. As much as I want to be a homer and support Kevin Pangos, great name, great Canadian name, playing abroad, look good in Europe, but maybe not the athleticism you need for an NBA player. Just not happening right now for Kevin Pangos.
Do you think Mike Breen would drop a pang
Oh yeah,
if he hits a three?
Yeah.
Big three?
yeah,
Hey! Or do you call him Kevin Bangos then?
right, yeah.
I like Pang better.
I would love to hear it spelled Pang.
Darren Pang. That's a hockey name. No,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
He's going to be the all-time leader in goals scored
What?
in a few years. He's on pace right
Who
now.
has it? Gretzky still?
Gretzky, yeah.
Not in my book.
Yeah.
Gretzky's still the one.
Gretzky's a great supporter right now. He says he's Ovechkin's number one fan. He's doing great on the broadcast.
How many goals are we talking here?
894, I think the record is.
Okay.
But Ovechkin's got he's second in the league right now.
How many does Yager have? Is he still playing, isn't he?
Ovechkin's second in the league in scoring right now.
And goals scored, I think.
Wow.
He's
Okay,
hot.
Respect.
Yeah.
Real Julio Franco about it.
He's not that old.
We should
How
do
long is
who is this guy
He's
for
not that
hockey
old. I think he's like
reference
30.
He must be 36.
or
Yeah.
something.
Because he was 2004 draft, wasn't he?
Do you know the drafts
Oh,
in the
yeah.
NHL?
How do you know that?
Well, he's, I was talking about the top 50 goals that TSN had. And guess what the number one goal was?
That-
It was Ovi when he, he slides and he's on his back.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
flicks it over there. That was the number one goal.
This was just the best goals of all time?
Yeah, I mean, lacrosse, mate. I didn't see Maradona there, but I saw lacrosse goals. So
What?
Oh, this wasn't just hockey?
no, yeah, it was any goal. So there was some soccer and there was some old one. I saw Mario Lemieux scored one. So it was it wasn't just like the last decade or anything like that. And I'm like, I mean, Maradona didn't even get a mention there. Dennis Bergkamp
You can't
wasn't on there.
score soccer goals with your hand.
No, the one before that.
you're
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
right.
that's the
Sure,
one.
where it goes through everybody.
Yeah. So anyway, but Ovi was number one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do know which goal you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a nice
yeah.
goal.
It's good. I think it was in his first or second year.
You should do a split screen
Oh.
of Ovi's goal and
Maradona.
Maradona's goal.
I might just do
No,
that.
you want some good
goals.
What would be the caption for that?
Good goals
all about the
almighty.
caption.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I did not lose a pick a month. Tass did.
Yeah.
So I owe a bunch still, and we're going to get to paying them off here now that we're in the Classic Factory. Don't you worry. But Tass ultimately has one that he'll have to pay off as well. This brought to you by BetGM, all of this madness. But let's start it over again.
Let's do it.
New year, new month. We're all 0-0.
I can't wait to pay mine off, actually, because
Yeah.
that means you'll have paid off your 3 that you owe, right? You still have 3 yet.
Well,
I'm not paying any off until you pay off.
I'd like to just pay these off sooner rather than later, JD.
Hey.
Get the dog collar.
Yeah. Sorry, but just one thing. Schumann did suggest a great one for TAS. You have to do the entire show as Eric Reed, which I think that is
funny.
perfect.
Lots
Yeah.
of
The Miami Heat broadcaster.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to have.
Yeah. I'll save it.
A lot of stats. Yeah, like just
Easy.
stats.
Easy. I know numbers too. I like numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Shu. Well, what's tonight's game? There's a lot on.
Yeah, I think the creme de la creme of this one is Memphis visiting the Brooklyn Nets. That's the best game of the night. Monster line, 7.5 points. The Nets are favored by at home. But me and Trey still think that the Brooklyn Nets can cover that.
What fool put 8.5 on that graphic?
That's all right. That's all right.
It's 7.5. Okay, that's our
And
line.
Skeets and Leigh think the
Yep.
Grizzlies will cover
Yep.
that 7.5 point line, which is juicy. I understand why you would think that they would cover that because they have been playing extremely well. And the Brooklyn Nets coming off 2 straight losses where, they're just kind of going through the motions right now. I'm seeing a lot of people in the stream team absolutely picking the Grizz. That makes sense. So let's get this off to a good start.
All
Come
right.
on, Brooklyn.
All right, come on, Lee. Let's get a victory. Let's start the fun style.
Yeah. I thought that line was just a little juicy there for the Nets. But then again, the Grizzlies' defense has been weird this season. It was awful. Then Ja went down.
It was like the best in the league.
Exactly, which is weird. Now he's back.
Right.
So, I think they can cover that line, but maybe the Nets have a little bit of a bounce back sort of performance tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, guys. Let's call it there. First show in the Classic Factory with all 5 guys. Hey, what's better than this? Guys being... Thanks to everybody that joined us live. Did some big numbers here on a Monday. Appreciate all of you. Like the video. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube if you haven't already. Share the show. Leave your comments below. Follow us on Twitter at No Dunks Inc. You can follow us on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. Send in your questions to nodunks@theathletic.com and grab yourself an athletic subscription. I believe the deal right now, $3.99 a month. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks so they know that we sent you. Now, this has been a debate over the last couple of weeks here. Now that we're back in the Classic Factory, are we throwing to the Clipper Bros? What's your take on it?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Stick with it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm pro Clipper Bro. I know TAS.
Yeah,
he could do.
Sometimes I clipper, sometimes I don't.
Yeah. What do you think, Trey?
I mean, I'm pro bro, but Tass told me it's a lot different when you're in the studio.
Let's see it. Let's see. It's a different feel in here.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
All right.
Gotta go.
Has to go.
I'm anti-bro now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's weird. You sit here, like people out there, they're loving it, but backstage Classic Factory magic, we're just sitting here.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's different.
But you're just sitting there at home when we would play.
No, but you're seeing it. You're seeing it come through in the streams, He's right there in your face pointing at you. Here, you just got to watch on a little one. Can't even hear what he says.
Yeah, I didn't even hear him there. I hope everybody in the stream team heard him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was me. That might have been.
Sabotage. Jesus. Get the fuck out of here, Clipper, bro. Embrace the day, people.